Hi everyone, we've got Naomi Greenshields here. She is a South Australian farm girl turned remedial therapist since 1992 with extensive experience serving celebrities, sports people and corporate clients. She combines health expertise with sales and marketing, working at Chi Flow Wellness in Brisbane, specialising in alternative therapies for sport and wellness recovery. Currently, Naomi is expanding into corporate remedial contracts, always lifting the game, while balancing her passion for horse racing and rescue. Naomi, thanks for joining us on the Business and Investing Playbook podcast.
Thank you so much, Luke.
It's very exciting. So firstly, how did you transition from farm girl in South Australia to a leader in health and wellness business to unfold that? And what are the early lessons that really shaped your entrepreneurial mindset?
Oh, goodness. I think maybe work has shaped the direction that I'm going in at the moment. The entrepreneurial mindset, I think, came from maybe when I wasn't happy with the direction that my life was going in, and circumstances have just flowed into that sort of area. Haven't really planned anything as I've gone along. Things kind of just happen, and I take the negative and create a positive as I go.
That happened for you? Or to you?
I think it happened for me. Yeah, and that's the way I prefer to see it now. At the time, you sort of sit back and you think, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" And then you kind of just go with the energy, and it's very kumbaya.
Well, is it a big part of what you do now?
The energy is a part of what I do, but also the goal setting and the direction is much more targeted than what I used to do. I just used to go with the flow and see what was going to happen at the time, and you just sort of open to anything, and opportunities come along and you grab it with both hands and run with it.
And what made the shift from farm girl to what you're doing now?
Different directions, different industries through hospitality, and then wanting to actually be of service to people. So I was considering nursing and things like that really early on, but found that I had an aversion to blood. So I know I haven't talked to you about that before. Things happen and you pivot and try something else, and you pivot and try something else. So failure after failure after failure has actually got me into an industry where I'm actually of service to people and helping people. And it turns out I'm actually quite good at it. So
I always hear people say about failure, but I also hear about the idea of test and try. Yes. And I think we often get too comfortable. We're in this sort of atmosphere where things are going along fairly smoothly. But because you've had maybe those hits where it hasn't worked out, or those failures as such, then that's led you to move on to the next thing.
Yes, yeah. And your family will always remind you that you didn't succeed at this or that, but I see it as it's not necessarily an achievement to fail, but it's definitely a learning experience, and it makes you stronger and more focused on what you want. Yeah.
So you did say about those different enterprises or experiences or jobs that you had. What have been those hard knocks, and how have you dealt with them?
I think
maybe the highlight, like one or two.
I'm always been harder on myself than anyone else is going to be on me to start with.
I think we all are, aren't we?
Yeah, possibly. But when, for instance, the most recent thing is I had an injury working with horses. Ended up buying the horse that caused that injury, because I totally respect he is actually the catalyst for a lot of the things that have happened to me in the last 12 months. I was told I was never going to treat people again. I couldn't have the experience of that because I've been in the industry for 37 years. I'm old. And then I didn't really believe in that, so I sought out an alternative therapy that got me over the line. I ended up having an offer to be with Chi Flow, and met Woody and his wife in the business, and we have got along really well, and it's just gone off like a frog in a sock, basically, since June. I've worked for businesses that take years to get to where we are now, and it's only been not even 6 months.
It's kind of really interesting around, like, you had a horse injury, and you've got back on the saddle.
Yes,
literally. And when people have those injuries, like, I guess Mick Fanning's a big one. Like, going back in the water. How is it to go back on the saddle for the first time?
Oh, fantastic! Especially when you're told you can't do something. And I'm the sort of person, if someone says to me, this is never going to happen for you again, if they tell me I can't do something, I'll do it twice and make you watch, because it just really puts the fire up me to...
Do you think Mick was in the same fashion? Because he didn't have an injury as such out of it. Obviously, there was a lot of mental scars and, life around it. Like, we are all guessing at this point, but, kind of that similar experience is like, you do something you're so passionate about, like Mick was in surfing, you are with horse riding, and to get back in once you've had that horrific experience.
Yeah. And I feel justified. Like, it makes you stronger to go through that sort of scenario, and you just, you want to line the people up that told you that you couldn't do it, and just come back and say, and not only that, I'm doing this and this and this as well too.
So the horse created the injury for you.
Yes.
Made you... Because, prior to this podcast, you were just saying that you were working like 90 hours a week and just like really under the pump and didn't know any other way. And basically that injury made you stop everything. Yep. And you had
7 months.
7 months off, not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like literally anything.
Nothing, because I had my arm tucked up like this, the atrophy in the shoulder and everything. I couldn't even make a fist. Yeah, my whole arm was completely...
What could you do?
I can do the vacuuming.
So therapeutic.
My favourite thing. I wasn't supposed to drive. I could cook, but have you ever tried to cut up a carrot with one hand? It's so... For me I had to change my whole lifestyle and the way I looked at things and go the easier route, because I've always sort of had personal pride in doing everything the hard way, because it gives you a greater sense of achievement. But to step back and allow other people to help and do different things for me, that was actually really hard.
But you had to. You had no choice.
I had no choice. And
how do we change that idea that we're not doing that? We're not waiting for the no choice, and we're getting in earlier with the asking for help or slowing ourselves down? Or do we actually need the hard knocks? I just really wonder sometimes, like, it feels like the people that do have those hard knocks just come out of it so much stronger.
I think that's a good way to learn so that you don't forget. And I know that, if you're training a pet or a child, that you want them to all have a positive experience, but often they won't remember anything from that. And I'm not saying, go out and, leave your kids outside the house for 5 days, but just, that if they are learning from their own mistakes, they'll never forget, and they'll actually achieve a lot more.
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with people in the last week or so of having those hard knock situations and then actually something so good happened as a result, which you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And who knew that I'd be here speaking to you? It's so cool.
It's amazing. Naomi, in your experience with elite athletes, corporate clients, what's the one overlooked factor that drives successful business partnerships and growth, do you feel?
I think corporate and elite people have a mindset that is completely different to the average person. They have an intuitive way of dealing with people and to also push themselves. So they seem to only attract the positive. That's, that might be a fallacy, but people that are more successful always seem to attract positive people.
It's just the energy.
Yeah, it could be the energy, or it could be the fact that they are so targeted with what they want, you cannot distract them from anything.
It was really interesting. I heard a similar kind of story. It was like on the bad side of it. It was like this kid was like unfortunately affected swimming at a pool on the Sunshine Coast, and there was like this same family has constantly had issues arise.
Yeah.
So on the bad side is like energy is a big one.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, keep going.
Sorry, not just the energy that you attract, but it's also what you put into your system as well too. And I think where athletes are concerned, they're so focused on clean living and clean energy and being targeted towards exactly what they want, that you and part of what I do, I'm trying to distract people because I make them a bit taller with the treatments that I do.
Oh wow.
And it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm trying to tell a story, tell it well, tell it often. So I'm telling the story, and they are completely ignoring me, but they like the pain. So it's
okay. Well, that leads me into my next question. Actually, it's like, what are the trends in alternative therapies and wellness? I guess this one is one that you believe that savvy and business owners should watch out for right now. Like, what are those alternative things?
I think the development of Eastern and Western alternative therapies together is going to blow the lid off the wellness industry altogether. Okay. It's already happening. It's been happening for a while, but I think if people were more open to alternative therapies from different cultures and we could blend them together, that's what we're doing at Chi-Flow. In fact, we've got the Western and the Eastern culture working together. But they do everything from injury to women's health and post and pre injury maintenance.
And tell me about like making people taller, because this is something that I've not really heard about. Like, I'm sure that it's
more to do with fascia. Well, I do like a fascial release. So the fascia holds all your muscle and sinew together. So when you're elongating that, you're actually opening up the sheath around the outside of the muscle. So it's not contracted, it's not calcified as much. And particularly over 35, you get a lot of ex-athletes or people that have suffered an injury where the connective tissue is actually contracted, and you've got one hip sitting higher than the other because it's shortened. Because it's actually...
Is that for like stretching and things like that?
Stretching to the
can't touch your toes, which I have a problem with right now. So maybe I need that fasciata.
I'll make a booking for you.
Look at it.
The fascia does contract over time, and I've explained to someone yesterday. It's a little bit like when you do a lamb roast, you see the fascia is a little bit like the fatty structure over the muscle tissue. It's like the opaque film over the muscle structure. So when you look at lamb, it's white. When you look at mutton, it's yellow. So you've lost collagen and elastin proteins in that connective tissue. So it won't change the colour, but when you elongate the muscle east-west instead of north-south, you're actually opening up the cellular development a little bit more, and you'll stand taller, like actually physically taller.
Wow, okay, that's...
it's proven.
Look at this insight on the podcast today.
Watch Luke,
Naomi,
it's going to be taller.
Yeah, I know. Naomi, what are 3 actionable items that you would recommend listeners do in the next 90 days? Probably especially from a business sense.
Yeah, from a business sense, do something that's uncomfortable. So if you're sitting in your business and thinking, you're ticking along nicely and everything's going really well, but you're in that daily grind of everything the same. Do something that you always thought of, or that if you see something that comes up that's new, just have a go.
And number 2?
Number 2 would be keep an open mind when you're talking to people from outside your industry, because you get little snippets of gold just everywhere. You never know when it's going to turn up.
Oh yeah, I like that, because you're doing the same thing in business, but the techniques that are used in one industry could be used in others, or how people are doing things. And number 3?
Number 3 would be just don't give up. Like, if even on the crummiest day, just
those hard knocks, what you talked about earlier.
Yep, keep going. Do not give up. And if you see an opportunity, jump on it like a fat kid on a cupcake. Do not stop.
I love that saying. It's a brilliant one. Naomi, what is one single powerful piece of advice that you give the listeners aiming to build a legacy beyond financial success? Beyond financial success.
Beyond financial success, look after your own fitness, I think, is the number one thing. Because if you are,
tell me about it.
If you are unwell or you're not going 100% in your own mind and body, it doesn't matter how successful you are, you're going to die. And we're all going to die anyway, but you may as well die fit and happy. And you can turn back time, but only to a certain extent. So yeah, get up early, exercise, do what you need to do.